What's good, people? What's good? About to randomly relate. Reverse rants, no hate. So I did a video speaking about the Mike Tyson comeback, which I only heard about it from social media. Basically saying that Mike was supposed to come back and do an exhibition. I never heard it from Mike Tyson, and I have not heard anybody say anything about him coming back to fight. You know, first off, you have to pass your physicals, okay? And if you can't do that, then okay. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Now, let's say if it did, right? And let's say Mike somehow pulled off a win, I wouldn't. Then I would just say, hey, he did it. I was wrong. He did it. Okay? Because like I said, being lucky, landing a lucky shot, yeah. As far as him just going out there and doing what he once did when he couldn't even do it in his 30s, and now he's smoking weed and all, you know, and just sitting back chilling, and you know, people getting goofy because, like I said, of a short video of him hitting the mitts. Well, look, do I think it's going to happen? No. If it did happen, I think Mike gets knocked out. I don't see him beating any of the top guys. Top guys. I'm not talking about some fucking meatball that has undefeated record, but nobody knows him and he hasn't really done anything. I'm talking even in that. He was getting beat by guys that wasn't ranked. So I really don't see him being that guy to come back. I don't see anybody being past their prime like them coming back doing anything like that. Even Floyd Mayweather saying, people saying he's going to come back and fight, and he should fight Crawford. He should, you know, when you have a certain greatness that people don't even talk about warm-ups, they just think you come back in there and jump against the top guys. The same thing. I don't think Floyd, if that was to happen, I don't think Floyd should just come back and jump over whoever and get a title shot. The difference in that is him being the A side, leaving undefeated, and basically people still think Floyd can do. You know, a lot of people just want to see him lose. They want to finally see him be able to say somebody finally beat him. He finally got that one loss on his record. I don't see a reason for Floyd to come back, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't give a shit what Manny Pacquiao's doing. And you know what's funny is people always, when somebody, like people said, Floyd waited for Manny to get old. Well, if that's the case, why is Manny just beat Keith Thurman? So if that's the case, why is Manny still winning fights? Okay? So if Floyd waited for him to get old, and Floyd is older than him, how much sense does that make? How much? And Floyd fought Manny with brittle hands. This wasn't Floyd. This wasn't Floyd with you know pretty boy Floyd. This is okay. My hands, my body's breaking down, and he still won. And people don't analyze the things that they say. They hear something, they have these biased opinions, and that's the thing with the difference with being fans. Somebody said, when you're a fan, why you think people, I mean, what's wrong with being a fan? The problem with being a fan is you're biased, more than likely, you're biased to the fighters or the teams or whatever the individuals do, whatever they are, to them to win. And you make excuses for them when they lose. Even when they're not making excuses for themselves. The fans are going, oh, but it's because he did this or that. You know how often fighters fight all the time with injuries, man. They fight, this is not, you know, bad shoulder, but they don't say anything. Why would you? You go and tell somebody, yeah, I'm going to this fight, my shoulder's bad. Oh, so your opponent gets that? Oh, he got a bad shoulder. Oh, let me jump on him then. Okay. Oh yeah, okay, thanks for telling me. You don't tell people this, but at the same time, it's like we've become so, in this generation of social media, everybody is a fucking critic. Everybody can tell you what this guy can do, what this guy can't do. Oh, this guy should have did this. If it was me, I would have did blah, blah, blah. Oh, he sucked. He ain't shit. And all the fuck you're doing is sitting back trying to live vicariously through the people that you cheer for, because you're sitting here typing on your phone or your computer, your laptop, your tablet or whatever. Oh, he sucked. He ain't shit. He'll beat him. He'll beat him. And this is what you do all day, every day on social media. You go from page to page to page just to fucking talk shit. Just to criticize. And me not being a fan, okay? That's why I'm doing this. The idea came from somebody asking me, well, what's the difference? I'm not a fan of anyone. I'm not emotionally attached. Sure, there's fighters who I cheer for over others. There's teams that I would cheer for over other teams, stuff like that. But like, if they lose, it's like, man, almost. Well, next time. That's it for me. There's no, oh, man, damn, man, we almost had it. No, man. We. Who the fuck is we? People kill me when they cheer for their team. Oh, we won. We. I didn't see you on the court. Never fucking mean we. And people get to the point where they're trying to be loyal to a complete stranger. I don't know any of these fucking fighters. So imagine me arguing with my fucking brother who I love over a fight. Man, fuck you, you crazy. No, he'll knock him. You bugging. Motherfucker, he'll do this, he'll do that. What the fuck am I yelling at my brother for? What am I angry and screaming at my friend for? What am I yelling at my cousin for? You think that these basketball players and these fighters give a shit what we're doing? No. So, me personally, I'm an observer. I appreciate and I respect. And that's as far as it goes. I, by no means, am a fan of anybody's. I'm not wearing your face on my shirt. Yeah, like Marvel characters or something like that. Something because I like to draw and stuff like that. But as far as me walking around with another man's name on my fucking shirt, his face on my shirt, or whatever the fuck, no, I'm not a fan of anybody's. And at the end of the day, for guys that are reporters, okay, you have your channels and you report things, a lot of you, same thing, a lot of bias. And it's like you're waiting for something to fucking just to jump on and complain about. So when it comes to he said, she said, I don't do videos about that because I don't care about this guy said this about him, this guy. I don't really care about all of that. You know, like I'll give you an example. What's this guy? Carl Froch. He seems to always bash AJ. Now, AJ is the one heavyweight that I'm like, whoever AJ fight, I want to see AJ win. Do I really give a shit what Carl Froch is saying about AJ? No. So I don't want to talk about that shit. If other channels talk about it, whatever, that's their business, their choice. Because this shit feels like a soap opera. It feels like a fucking little mini soap opera. He said this about him, and then he said this, and he said this, and then she said, oh, girl, what happened next? And then she called him, do you know what that motherfucker said? What did he say, girl? He told, this is what that shit reminds me of. Like, he said, she said. Who gives a shit what somebody said, man? People don't like each other. People don't get along, whatever, man. And when people consider themselves reporters, and then, yeah, okay, I get it. They're going to talk about these things because it's boxing. It's in the boxing world or whatever. But I have no interest in that kind of shit. So I don't care about who said what. All I care about is who's going to fight. And, you know, we can talk about what we think is going to happen, things of that nature. But I never care about this soap opera style of videos. And he said this about him, and then this one did. And I mean, it means nothing. It means nothing. Understand. Look, anytime Floyd fought anybody, I always went with Floyd. I always went with Floyd that he's going to win. Let's say if Floyd would have lost. Okay? What could I say? Unless I feel like he got robbed in a fight or something, but what could I actually say? I mean, because there's a couple of fights where they call it a split or majority, and I'm like, man, that was unanimous. You know, but at the end of the day, the point what I'm saying is, it does not matter what the fuck we say. What matters is what happens when the fighters get in the ring. And a lot of these guys got channels. I told you. Go look at all the video. I told you. I said. Okay. And now, pull up the fucking videos when your ass was wrong. Now go say, yeah, go look at that video when I was talking shit, running my mouth, and what I said was going to happen didn't happen. When you observe, you analyze things, you put things in its proper perspective. That's what you try to do. And no matter who you want to win, you look at it like, well, it seems like, or I think, or, you know, it's like a real scientist, right? Real scientists don't tell you, oh, well, we know for a fact that this happened, that happened, when they're not sure. They'll tell you what we believe, what we think, and then they'll tell you why they think and believe these things. Okay, or like a religious person, I know God is real. How do you know? Because in my heart, I know. No, that's what you believe. See, there's a difference. We've been all taught that God created the world, and God is this and God is that, but we know science and biblical scriptures don't match, right? That's why it says walk by faith and not by sight, because it's clearly telling you There's no way of you knowing this, right? There's no proof of, but you have to just believe. Okay? So for people that rationalize, we'll say, it's not what I want to believe, it's what we can prove. And I'm giving that analogy just to make it more clear what I'm saying, okay? So as a fan, okay, fans tend to be biased and take sides. I've seen fucking football teams like 2-14, and it's like mid-season, and the fans are going, nope, we're gonna get it together. God is gonna bless us, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna somehow, yeah, okay, good luck on that one. So just because you even as a fighter, you can believe in yourself. As you know, whatever you're doing, that does not mean that you're going to succeed the way you imagine. And this is what people do most of the time. They use their imagination as to the way they think something's going to go. Remember that simulated fight, that computer fight they did with Muhammad Ali and Rocky Marciano? Okay. Well, there's one of Marciano beating Ali, and then there's another one of Ali beating Marciano. The funny thing is, they never show the one of Ali beating Marciano. They never fucking show that one. Okay, I don't even know if that one's still up. But if you look at, you know, what they was able to do with the technology that they had at the time and how they, you know, if you watch that fight, it's like no. If you imagine that fight, you still don't know how the fight's going to go. No, we can say, oh, I'm going to imagine the fight being this way, and then the fight's going to happen exactly the way we wanted to. No, that's not how it goes. But if you look at that, the way it was simulated, it just looked like a little sparring match. That's what it looked like. Somebody just pit-pat, and then, okay, they did the best they could with that. For people that think Marciano would have won, they're like, see, exactly, that's exactly what would have happened. For people who think Ali would have won, see, yep, that's exactly what happened. They never fought, they never will fight. We have no way of knowing. Now, personally, I think Ali would have won. Okay? But I don't sit and imagine the fight in my head, how I think he would have did. I mean, I can imagine him using his jab and movement, how he does, talking shit, clinching, talking in his ear, telling him shit, and smacking him around. I can imagine that. But what I'm saying is, the fight's not going to play out, okay, like it just happened the way I pictured it in my head. No, at the end of the day, okay, fans are biased. That's one of the things that I learned about myself. I'm not biased, and that's why, like, people would say, man, you don't even cheer for the team that, you know, in your home state. Well, right. Who the fuck says I have to? What rule says I can't like a team from another state? You understand what I'm saying? So, and that, I'm not the only one. There's many people who like teams that they're not from that state, that town, whatever. So, and big deal. But at the same time, doesn't matter what team I would want to see win. I'm not going to sit here and say we're the better team just because I want them to win. It doesn't. Look, man, I like the San Antonio Spurs in basketball. I couldn't see anybody beating those 90s Bulls when they got on that run, and from their first championship and just going through every year. They just showed you, like, you know, now during off season, you know, hey, yeah, you want to see your team win, but it was like the team that you like, you know, you want to see them win, but it's like, nah, man, and they just kept showing you. Unlike these other teams that would try to tear the Bulls down, all they got is Jordan. Oh, if it wasn't for Jordan, well, if any fucking team didn't have a star player, you could say the same thing. Why specify that about the Bulls of Jordan? So the whole point of what I'm saying is, being an observer keeps me in the zone where, no, I'm not biased. I'm not going to say something based on, well, because I want him to win, I'm going to say he would win. I don't know what would happen. I know what I think would happen when it comes into fruition. It's not about I told you. No, motherfucker, because it could have went the other way. Something could have went wrong. When David Hay lost to Tony Bellew, because of his Achilles tendon, people were saying, yeah, man, but if it wasn't for that, he'd have knocked Tony Bellew out, because Bellew, he's not even a real heavyweight. And I'm like, truth of the matter is, man, he was fucking David Haye up before the injury. He was winning that fight. So I mean, I can't say. I mean, we'll have to see in the rematch. Who did I want to win? David Haye. That's who I was backing, David Haye. And it was in that fight where I said, damn, you know what, man? I don't really think he's going to beat Tony Bellew in the rematch. And I saw him training, and I saw how he was throwing his shots, his footwork, how he was spacing his legs so wide, his movement didn't look the same. And to be honest with you, with his 2 comeback fights, with those 2 meatballs that he ran through, and then he ducked Shannon Briggs because he clearly said, fight on my undercard and then we'll fight. Fight on my undercard and win and we'll fight. And they both destroyed 2 meatballs, and the fight never happened. He claimed he offered Shannon Briggs $10 million and that Shannon turned it down. I can't imagine Shannon Briggs turning that money down or that fight. I mean, that's what he worked so hard to get. But anyway, it's not like I was there to know. But at the end of the day, David Haye looked sloppy to me. He's pulling punches from way behind his back, just, you know, and no technique, no real, nothing that made you really, yeah, David Haye still got them hands. It was just bombs away on 2 meatballs. And when he got there and lost to Tony Bellew, that leads me to believe, I honestly, and before the Bellew fight, I was saying, I'm thinking, man, I think Shannon Briggs might knock David Haye out, man. Because David Haye, I don't see the movement, I don't see that quickness with the, you know, the hand speed, you know, get the shots in, move. He's standing there just trying to bang. And honestly, Shannon Briggs can punch. Shannon Briggs can punch. And I'm saying, now the way for me, if the best case scenario for David Haye would be is if he could avoid those bombs, and then Shannon gets tired, and maybe then he can get Shannon out of there, because Shannon Briggs has asthma, and he's always had that issue all his career where he fights and he gets tired so fast because he has asthma. But Shannon Briggs, I mean, when you think about it, and Shannon Briggs has fought people, and he's always had that ability to hurt you, and then he would just blow his load trying to get you out of there, and then he get that second win and he try to do it again. And David Haye would have made it easy, because at this point he's just standing trying to bang, and David Haye couldn't move like he used to. At that point he was reduced to a guy that just stands there and tries to just trade. And he kept saying, one shot, Tony Bellew's out of here. And I didn't like the way that sounded, because I'm saying to myself, yeah, see, he sounds like the way he fought those 2 guys, I think that's what the new David Haye is looking like. And it turns out that that's what it was. Now, for me to sit here and say, oh, he's going to beat him because of this and because of that, we don't fucking know. There's certain fights where it just looks more obvious than others. And with Tony Bellew coming up from the cruiserweights to fight David Haye, who's been fighting heavyweight for a while, you know, people saw it as an advantage, but you don't know, because how is he going to carry his power over into as a heavyweight? We don't know till we see. So for all this, I told you, everybody want to talk like they know every fucking thing about not just boxing, but even the boxers, their personal life, what they doing in the gym, what they eat, what they don't eat. I mean, everybody's just such a fucking expert on nothing. You know, we don't know these people personally. I don't know what the fuck these fighters are doing right now. I'm not even concerned about that. You know what I'm saying? We just basically, we like who we like, and we speak. Me personally, like I said, I'm not emotionally invested. When AJ lost to Andy Ruiz, it was like, all right, hey, yep, Andy got him. Simple. I wasn't trying to, and yeah, I did feel like AJ just didn't look right. It was just obvious, man. But I was not going around telling people, yo, man, it was this, and I'm telling you, AJ, we don't know what was wrong. But I do know that AJ came back like a true champ in the rematch and got his title back. And then you had a lot of people bashing him. Oh, he just ran, and okay, well, you know what? At the end of the day, it's called boxing, right? And when you find a different way to win, you use it. When you can't find a different way to win, right? Like, for example, how we just saw what happened to Deontay Wilder. So for all of the AJ haters that's talking about what AJ can't do, now let's see if Deontay can come back and beat Tyson Fury. Let's see if he can find out what it is he has to do. Because if it just comes down to just he lands a shot and all of a sudden it takes Tyson out, okay, well that's what Wilder was known for doing. He was never known for being technically sound and putting combinations together. He doesn't throw combinations. He just throw wild shots. You know, he doesn't throw speedy shots. He just throw a quick 1-2. You know, and basically if it works, it works. But at the end of the day, like I said, when you're a fan, you speak with your emotions, and it impedes your ability to think sensibly and really put thought into what you're saying. You're just looking at who you want to win and who you like. I don't think that people really understand what's realistic when they're thinking with their emotions, because you're reacting. You want to see this happen, you want to see that happen, but how do we get to that point? And you guys don't understand. The one thing is, when the fighters that you like lose, the same way if they win, you say that their opponent should be gracious in defeat. I don't think you guys know how to accept that. You know what? He lost. It is what it is. He'll come back next time. So when a guy has a fight and then 2-3 months later we're still talking about a fucking glove gate, we're still talking about oh, there's evidence that Tyson Fury cheated. I mean, like, really, man. And what's worse is when the fans are doing it is one thing, but it's worse when the fighter starts doing it, because you're showing. Like, example, Deontay Wilder said something, you know, one time about people that like the fighters of the previous generations. He said, we're great too. You got to give us a chance, and you got to, you know, support and be positive, man. But we great too. But this and this and that. Now, he says that, right, in defense of himself. He doesn't give a shit about the other fighters. He said, Tyson Fury, I still don't see him as the champ. Now, when they first fought, what did he say? The two best heavyweights on the planet are fighting. This what happens. It's easy to put the fight together. When the two best go at it, when you want the fight, it's easy. Didn't he say that? Then he started saying Fury didn't want nothing, the rematch, he didn't want no smoke, he was ducking and all this shit. And, you know, he lost respect for Fury and all that. Fury's a ducker. Okay, the fight finally happens. He gets his ass beat soundly. He said, well, the better man won with no excuses, and they made excuses. Okay, we already been through that. But then he turns around and does what? He says he doesn't recognize Fury as the champ and says, that wasn't me in there. I was like a zombie in there. Fury knew that wasn't me. This is the same dude that opened his mouth, showed his face on camera to do an interview to bash Anthony Joshua for losing, and Anthony Joshua made no excuses, regardless to what was wrong or what wasn't wrong. He basically just took it on the chin, came back and won the rematch. Then he bashes how he wins the rematch. Well, the only guys he gave any credit to was Luis Ortiz, and start labeling him the boogeyman. He was proud of Andy Ruiz for beating AJ because he doesn't want to fight AJ. And I believe he feels stylistically, he feels he can't beat AJ. At the end of the day, what happened to all this we're great too when all you do is shoot down the fighters that's in your era and in your generation now? So how do you say we're great too? No. What he meant to say is I'm great too. You know, and of course he beats Luis Ortiz twice. Yeah, he wants to big up to make him look better. I beat the boogeyman that nobody wants to fight, which is exactly what he said. So at the end of the day, when you start to really combine everything and look at who does what and how things went, yeah, I'll say this about AJ. AJ lost. He took it like a man. He came back. He won like a man. Shut up all the critics. No matter what bitching and complaints they make, he shut them all up. Why? Whenever you do something and you're successful, it doesn't mean that everybody's going to like you or accept the way you did it. They're going to still want to, if they want to see you lose, they're going to find something to complain about. At the end of the day, we've seen Wilder struggle against lesser opponents. So even though he wound up getting the win, it's like he struggled with guys that nobody even talks about now. Unless, like Duhampus and all these guys, Molina, unless those names get brought up about them fighting either AJ or Wilder. But as far as their careers and who they just, nobody cares about these guys. And who were they? They weren't even ranked. So now when you start to say, oh, we're great too, and people are hating on us, you're hating on everyone. You're hating on all these guys. So Fury went from being the two best heavyweights, one of the, you and him, to, oh, he's a ducker. Oh, I don't see him as the champ. That wasn't me in the ring. Oh, I had complications with my legs. My legs is already weak. Right. So you see my point as fans. Your fans are going to get behind. Oh, yeah. Instead of just, hey, man, you know what? You lost this time. Next time we'll get them. Fans can't do that. Most of them can't do that. Most of them have to have an excuse, and especially when they've been running their mouths because they don't want to be wrong. They don't want somebody to say, what happened? Your man got his ass whooped. They can't. Yeah, he did. Nah, man, something was wrong with his legs. Yo, see how he was blinking when he took the mask off? Yo, you can't find it in you to just accept, you know what, he lost. And that's one of the things, like me, I grew up, I matured from, as a kid, yeah, you thought, when I was a kid, I used to think Bruce Lee could beat everybody in the world. As a kid. But as you grow and mature and you start to realize and see things for what it is. And for me, one thing that I would never want to see myself as is when I see the way a fanboy reacts to somebody and it's like, wow. And I would never want to be that person. And this is not about putting myself on a pedestal or trying to bash people. No, I am speaking against the reality. I'm expressing the reality, and I speak against the bullshit of it. It's just like, quick story. I remember someone was telling a person about me, saying, yo, that guy he got game, he could hoop. Yo, that guy, he should have been in the NBA. You got to see him hoop, man. Now, this is not me saying it, regardless to my confidence in what I know I can do or whatever, but this was basically this guy saying these things about me. And he said he got hands and feet too, and knees, elbows. Yo, I seen him. Yo, the guy he was talking to said, I wasn't there to hear it, but what I was told, he said, if he's all that good, why he ain't in the NBA? If he can fight all that good, how come I don't see him in the ring? The guy told him everybody don't get the same breaks, but I'm gonna tell you right now, that dude ain't no joke, and it hurts me to know he's not sitting up on millions of dollars right now because he's ultra talented. The guy he was talking to can hoop, and the guy was basically pretty much saying, no comp out here, man, I beat everybody, this and that, yo, we about to go over such and such and this and that, we gonna run a full court and we gonna this and that. So we wound up playing that one-on-one, and I crushed him. And I'm not saying this braggadociously. What I'm saying is, in his mind, how good can he be? How good can he be? I never seen him play in the NBA. Then he got mad because I beat him in basketball. And I'm not a shit talker, man. I'm sitting there like, my fuse is too short for shit talking. Like, so I'm sitting there like, that was over with. And I'm thinking about what I got to do for the rest of the day. Like, all right. But he's taking this thing serious. So one day, he telling somebody, I got hands too. I ain't worried about nothing. You know what I do. You seen my work. You seen what I do. Now, I don't even know that this talk is taking place. Everything I'm saying from the basketball, I didn't even know this till after we had our little physical altercation. And you know what was crazy? He was basically going around talking a lot of trash. But I'm not around bullshit. So it's not getting back to me. So when it did, I approached him. And, he tried to, at first he was calm and just, no problem, this and this. And then when people start to come around, he wanted to bring it back up. Yo, I don't appreciate you walking off here like this. Yo, you don't know me. And getting real loud, and I know what that is. Yeah, he's trying to get his heart up. So I opened my trunk, and I said, gloves and no gloves. Then he's like, what was it? Gloves and no gloves. because I'm about to knock you out. And basically, it didn't take long. First thing came out of his mouth. But yo, he know how to box and do all that. You was told that beforehand. But your hatred, you understand what I'm saying? It took me to wash him up for him to understand what they was telling him. Now, it wasn't me saying it, but you know, my homie was, hey man, yo, this and that. And he wasn't saying it like trying to like tell him, yo, he'll kick your way. He was just, yo, you know, but that's how a lot of people are. They don't want to hear somebody get credit for something if they're not getting credit to or getting more credit for. So when people are fans, they're biased. All these people are haters, and yeah, people are just ignorant. So when you start looking at things from its proper perspective and you can just analyze, like I got kids. If my kid fight anybody, who the hell you think I'm cheering for? My kid, of course. But the love that I have for my kid, I'd have to be honest with him and, hey, listen, you're not ready for that guy yet. You don't think that trainers do that? Of course they do. I don't give a fuck if he was Ray Robinson, whether it was Ali, whoever the fuck it was. They move them at a certain level until when they show that, when they have that fight against that opponent and they obliterate that guy, and basically like it happens worse than the way they're like, yo, he okay. I thought you was just going to outpoint you, really okay, and then you step up. I'm not going to put my son in there with somebody and have them beat the shit out of my son because my ego or my son's ego got to the weak. Oh no, you move them right. And then when they get in that position, and it's reality, that's what all fighters do. Okay? You all agree that Sugar Ray Leonard is one of the all-time greats. What did he say? He's pouring drinks. He's talking to Marvin Hagler at his house. And yeah, right, so who you going to fight next? And I don't know, man. It's getting harder for me to get the fights I want. Yeah. And at the whole time, Sugar Ray Leonard is planning. Okay, you know what? And then he makes his announcement that he's going to return to come back to fight Marvin Hagler. And he said that that's why Marvin got pissed, because he used him that day to get in his head to find out what was going on. Now he wants to fight him, right? Well, guess what? It happened. So everybody's not going to like what you do. They're not going to like how you do it. But at the end of the day, again, you have to live your life and understand you're going to have your fans, you're going to have observers, you're going to have people that's biased for you, and you're going to have people that's going to keep it real, let you know. Like I said, I wouldn't have my son getting there with somebody who I know he's not ready for. And then that one loss can change you forever, man, where you could have waited and let him develop more, but instead, no, your greed make you put him in there way too soon, and he gets in there and he gets half destroyed, and people saying, oh, he ain't shit. Then other people going, it was too soon. Like Marvis Frazier jumping in there against Larry Holmes. Marvis Frazier only had 10 fights. Why the fuck was Larry Holmes even fighting this kid? I have no idea. Okay, and